Synthaholics. It's the Rap Tribal Podcast.
Welcome to Synthaholics. This is your host, David Duncan, and with me is...
Aaron O'Brien.
Aaron O'Brien.
Go back to Ireland.
Go back to Ireland? What island? The island of Lesbos?
No, Ireland.
Oh, Ireland. I thought you said island.
Yeah, well, it's an island.
That's true.
In the North Atlantic. What's happening? We got the next installment of Star Trek Discovery, the Wolfen side. Hungry like the wolf.
Hungry like the wolf.
Just like Duran Duran saying.
Hungry like Tuvox.
Hungry like the wolf. Hungry like the wolf. So, pretty fun episode. No. We have a couple little news things to report on just before we get into Discovery.
Yeah, what's the
big announcement? Big announcement on Synthaholics end, right, Dave?
Oh yeah, we hit 100 subscribers as of the recording of this on our YouTube channel, so we're able to actually have a domain name at the end of our YouTube channel. So it's youtube.com/Synthaholics. So you can go there. I'm just really excited that I get to have the domain now.
So, for anybody listening either through iTunes or Stitcher or whatever else you might be listening to, we have found that some people prefer to listen to this podcast on YouTube.
And thank you for people who listen on YouTube. I really appreciate all the listens for everyone who does listen on YouTube. And thank you for the subscribes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just, I've listened to stuff on YouTube, but it's usually, I don't usually just because, my daily routine, I'm not always close to a computer. So I'm usually on my smartphone if I'm listening to a podcast. But Dave also is, in addition to putting the podcasts on YouTube, he also is doing all the look backs on Discovery and then is making drinks, many, many drinks. And he tells you all how to make that. And you've done a couple cooking things like cookies and.
Yeah, I did cookies.
Yeah.
So we made homemade ginger syrup for the Moscow Mule. I think that's why I got blocked on Facebook from posting. I think like all the anti-Russia stuff, like all the automated stuff, it caught me for saying something about Moscow, and I used Bitly to shorten the link, so they thought it was like some Russian hacking stuff. I think, and that's why I was blocked from Facebook for a week.
That is hilarious.
I couldn't post to groups because they thought I was a Russian spy or something. Because I had Moscow Mule as the name. Context, Facebook. Come on, give me some context.
Only thing I can say, Dave, is that if you probably were a Russian spy, your drinking habits would be perfectly in line with any Soviet spy ring for the KGB.
I don't drink enough like straight vodka. I'm not. I think that's how they'd find me out. I don't drink enough straight vodka.
Yeah, you drink it, you go.
Yeah, I make mixed drinks that are sweet.
yeah, your drinks are pretty sweet. I don't mind them sweet, but you don't go with the harder liquor stuff there with the.
I do Everclear in my Romulan ale. You haven't had my Romulan ale yet, but
not yet.
You will.
Maybe when we get out of this Discovery era, we'll get back into our typical recording, whatever we do.
Yeah, so we can bring you Discovery as quick as possible. Aaron and I do remote. Usually in the past, we've pretty much done almost always in person podcasts. But for Discovery, so we can get them as quickly as possible, remote is the best way because we're recording right after Discovery's aired.
Yeah, and that's and what we do is, we watch it, we take notes, and then we kind of just like, have diarrhea of the brain right after we just totally unload what we're thinking about this episode. So cool thing on the YouTube.
And I want to thank all the people who subscribe to us on different podcast things. I just can't see those numbers as far as like who subscribed to us and who's just downloading. So I can't give any numbers for that other than download numbers. But I don't know what that means as far as subscribers, but thank you everyone who does subscribe to us through YouTube, through iTunes, through Google Play Music, whatever you subscribe to us through. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you aren't aware that we have a YouTube channel, definitely check it out and subscribe to it. Dave is really stepping up his game with the YouTube world, and he's immersed himself in the world of video. So we started off with just a purely audio format, and now Dave wants to go into video because he likes to be...
I like to not have fun in my spare time.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say a masochist, but yeah, whatever, however you want to put it.
Pretty much, I'm a masochist.
Yeah. So second part of news, very interesting, came out a couple days ago, was that Viacom and CBS are considering re-merging that would bring Star Trek under one single company.
Can we have a Star Trek cinematic universe, please?
I would hope so. I mean, at this point, it would be really cool.
I mean, do like a spin-off show of Discovery, same time period, different ship, doing different things, and then you bring them together in a movie. Man, that'd be so great.
Yeah, I think you could do a lot with it. And, I mean, if we use Discovery, let's just go, I mean, I know some people aren't crazy about Discovery, but if we use Discovery as the launching point, we can just move forward through all the different eras and all the different things from there.
Absolutely. And you can do time travel to bring them together, do some crazy stuff. It'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could really, there could be some cool stuff. So this could be a cool springboard if these two companies, and just so you know, Viacom is a parent company of Paramount Pictures, which owns the movie rights to Star Trek, while CBS owns the television rights to all the TV shows. So,
yeah, the Viacom used to own CBS, and they spun CBS off, and now they're reacquiring them. So that's fantastic news. I really can't wait to see what becomes of this. Star Trek can finally be a powerhouse again, now that it's controlled by one entity instead of multiple.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think with Disney and just the whole Disney empire, I think these companies are saying, hey, what products do we have? What IPs do we have that could rival this?
It's like, how can we stand up to Disney?
Well, yeah, and I don't know if Star Trek could possibly stand up to the Marvel Universe or the or the Star Wars universe because they're so robust now. But this would be a great time to start building, a really cool universe. Here we are, Discovery at the ground floor, 10 years before Kirk and crew. Why don't we move forward from there, and we could do some really kick-ass storytelling and reimagine a lot of shit too.
There's so much stuff they could do with Star Trek too. I mean, Star Trek was pretty much the original one of the original cinematic universes. I mean, you had Deep Space Nine and TNG running simultaneously, and then when TNG went off the air, they started up Voyager, and then they had the TNG movies happening at the same time. Voyager and Deep Space Nine were running, and they were all in the same universe happening at the same time. I mean, they did a little bit of crossover, but they could do so much more. And now that everything is so much on the crossover, they could just do so much with this, and that's so exciting. Especially with Arrow and Flash and all their spin-off shows they're doing, where they come together and have like a couple episodes together. It's just so much fun.
It is a lot of fun, but just one other thing with that, what you're saying is Star Trek. Actually, what's cool thing is after motion picture, after we had Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, and The Voyage Home, what was really cool about all those is that they all tied together. Like you could watch them back to back, and they all made sense.
Oh yeah, I call that the Star Trek trilogy.
Yeah, but it was like, I don't know in modern movies if I'd seen anything quite that well done, other than Star Wars being obviously the continuation. So
yeah,
really,
I don't think I've seen any sequels fit together that well.
Yeah.
Not even Star Wars movies fit together that well, quite honestly.
Yeah, usually there's like a space between those episodes that you don't really know what happened, other than Han Solo was still frozen in carbonite kind of thing. So, but yeah, so cool stuff there. Hopefully, we'll see what happens with this Viacom CBS merger thing. Might just be more Star Trek coming our way. If they're smart, I think they have a really cool IP. And if anything Discovery has shown is that we have an energized fan base.
Absolutely. And something's interesting is, we haven't heard any rumblings about that Nicholas Meyer project. What if that Nicholas Meyer project could morph into a movie if they're reacquired? Because, that's pretty much how we got into Star Trek the Motion Picture. Star Trek the Motion Picture was actually going to be Star Trek Phase 2. And that morphed into a movie once Star Wars blew up.
Right. Right.
So I mean,
Absolutely.
maybe once they're reacquired, Nicholas Meyer could do a movie instead of a TV show. Because I wouldn't mind seeing a Khan movie if that's what he's doing. I just don't know if I'd want to watch a Khan series. You know what I mean?
It's not that I'm, I mean, it's according how they write the story and everything, but not that I like Khan, but let's not make it into something bigger than it is. It was a villain. That's pretty cool. I love Wrath of Khan. I love the original series. Into Darkness was interesting. I don't think it was great, but can we stop going to the augments and Khan every time we need a bad guy? So
there's so many aliens that could be bad guys, right?
Yeah, so many things. Well, and they don't always have to be bad guys. It could just be some cool discovery that, or some wild, adventure, So cool stuff there. And we'll just have to look forward to see what happens.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah,
exciting possibilities.
And this would be something cool. Like, what if Discovery goes 2 seasons and they get greenlit for a movie?
Yeah.
That would be cool. And here, if that would happen, I mean, this is the one thing I always irked me about shows like Smallville and stuff like that. Had a huge fan base, and they never moved it into a movie territory.
Yeah, you think after 33 seasons they could, find time to do a movie, right?
We've been on for 33 years.
Clark Kent was a teenager for 30 of those 33 years.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but I mean, you literally had a fan base built in, and all you had to do is make a movie, and people would have gone nuts over it.
Yeah, it would have been crazy.
Yeah, so hopefully we get some kind of action like that, but who knows?
The new golden age of Star Trek. We can only hope. We can only hope. Well, let's get into our dawning ever golden age. We are in Discovery territory. We are doing the wolf inside. This is episode 11 of season 1. Ash is hungry like the wolf.
Dave, non-spoiler feelings about this episode.
It made me so mad.
Dave is angry.
I'm drinking a lot too, and I'm angry.
Makes him more angry.
I had a Moscow Mule, and I had a 3-shot Long Island, and now I'm having some Romulan ale. And I literally screamed at the TV in the middle of this episode.
Wow, that's anger.
But it was good overall. Just this one part just really made me upset, and then some other parts are making me worried. But some interesting stuff, and it looks like it's going to be at least a 3-parter. So I guess they're never going to see the end of this Klingon war.
They'll come back and they'll clean up. They'll just mop up the Klingon war after that.
It'll just be here, they'll wrap it up in the last 5 seconds, like they did. And I don't know if you've read the Green Lantern Star Trek crossover, but it was like this. It was this insane, insurmountable thing, and then they wrap it up in 2 seconds. And I was at the end, I was like, that was so anticlimactic. I was so disappointed by the ending of that comic thing because they were building it up, and I'm like, how are they ever going to do this? It's only a 6-comic run, and then they just fix it in like a second. And I was like, that's not fun or exciting. You just
magic rings.
Yeah, how about you, Aaron? What did you think about this episode?
The beginning of it moved a little slow. While it's still interesting, I don't dislike this episode. I think it moved a little slow. I think this is like a bridge between different episodes to carry the plot forward and tell some different parts of the story. But we get not the big reveal, but we get the emotional reveal of this episode, which we've been all waiting for finally.
And it happens. The emotional reveal wasn't as powerful as I was wanting it to be. This episode, like you said, it feels very much like a bridge and not like something on its own. Like last episode was just mind-blowingly good. It was something so awesome and unique, and then this episode just kind of it's a means to an end.
Right. And Jonathan Frakes is not directing this one, so which unfortunately,
is blatantly obvious.
Yeah, but it was interesting. There's nothing terrible about this episode. It's just there's not anything to make you go like, oh, I'm going to write home about this episode. Dear Mom, I saw the wolf inside today. Letter wasn't written,
and it was so hungry.
It was so hungry like the wolf.
And thirsty.
Hungry like the wolf. Hungry like the wolf. All right, shall we get into full spoilers?
Yes. This is the point in the episode where you can turn it off, or if you're a masochist like myself, you can keep listening.
Yeah, so The Wolf Inside is Season 1, Episode 11, air date January 14th, 2019.
18.
or 18.
You skipped a whole year. You're ready for Discovery Season 2.
Well, I'm a time traveler, Dave. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, are you looking for objects in the future to go back and sell in the past?
Yes, I'm a chrononaut, so I am looking for a Pentium chip 2, if you have. Okay, so 18. Sorry, Michael Berman. We get a voiceover, and we're kind of showing what the crew is all up to, and
it's like the
she
same
makes
voiceover from the preview, though.
Yeah, it is. But so it says she makes the statement that every moment is a test, and everywhere I turn, there's fear.
And every time I'm in my quarters, Saru's looking at me sexily.
Yes, and you can. It says she continues, and she says you can continue to pretend to be one of them, or can you continue to be one of them, even if as a little by little kills the person who you really are. So she's obviously grappling with the decision she has to make as captain of the Shinzu in this mirror universe. And then she kind of closes saying, maybe none of us really know the darkness waiting inside. So while all this is happening,
Saru gives her a bath.
Yeah, we get some.
That's got to be so weird because they've set up Michael and Saru as having this like sibling rivalry. They've set them up as very sibling-y feeling, and he's like all there, like taking her clothes off and like putting oils in her hair and on her skin and bathing her.
Yeah, that was a little weird. I can't deny that.
A slave has no name.
A slave has no name. Yeah. So, and he's like scrubbing her fingernails and weird stuff like that. While we were getting all that, we also saw a shot of Stamets holding Dr. Culber, kind of like holding him while Culber was dead. So, we're kind of.
I think that was not on our Discovery.
Really?
I think this was in another Discovery because when we see Stamets later in the episode, he's non-responsive at all. And he's at least mumbling here. And I think he's in the mycelial network and looking for a live version of Dr. Culber. Because also the ship is under maintenance because this ship has been messed up that you see. You know what I mean? Because there's that maintenance person running around.
Yeah, there you see them. The lady is making some electrical repair and she discovers them. I don't know. I don't know if they're in a different universe. I kind of assume that, Stamets keeps on blinking in and out of understanding what's happening and his brain keeps on getting worse and worse. So,
he's like seeing through the forest. Like he's looking for someone. I mean, it might be something we just discover later, but I don't know. It didn't seem like it was our Discovery because it was all blinky and like all broken. It's like, it didn't look right. You know what I mean?
I thought that was an interesting choice that, if it is in our unit or the mirror universe with the Discovery that, they come into some repair where it's, a worker's just fixing some
Honestly,
circuit.
At first, I thought it was the mirror Discovery.
Yeah.
I thought it was the mirror Discovery and that happening. So maybe, I don't know.
Well, so from at that point...
this is just one of the many things in this episode that's just not clear.
There's a lot of things that aren't clear about this. I mean, now that we're jumping between different parallel universes, it's hard to know what is what all the time and who's what. So, but I'm assuming most of the action taking place that we're seeing in this episode is in the mirror universe. So
yes, but when Stamets is involved, all bets are off, though.
Good point. Stamets is kind of the wild card. So
I'm the wild card. I cut the gas line.
Yes, maybe. So Berman is trying to figure out, how to still be a good Starfleet officer, but then be a Terran Empire captain, and that's very difficult. And after that, we see the Saru bathing Michael Berman, which was weird scene. We have a scene where Stamets is basically all strapped down, and Cadet Tilly and First Officer or acting Captain Saru are basically have him, strapped down thinking that maybe he killed Culber.
This is where I yelled at the TV. I'm like, internal sensors, something, come on, people. Records, accountability. This is a military ship. Probably a Section 31 military ship. There's gotta be like records or something of what happened in the medical, at least in the medical bay. You know what I mean? That just made me so angry. I'm like rubbing my face right now because I'm just so angry at that. Like, I don't know what happened. Sensors. Right. Can't you tell who was in the room at the time or it happened? Yeah, but
Anything. Tilly. But Tilly was trying to make it into that. She didn't know if that was him, and that it's possible that if it was him, his brain activity is not himself.
Sure,
So,
and you know when your front lobe is damaged in a way that can cause different violent outbursts because that's what
like football players.
Yeah, if your front of your brain that's where like emotions and like self control are. So when that gets damaged, then you can act out and you don't even know it. But the fact that they were questioning it just irked me because I'm like, you should know exactly what happened. You should have a video feed. You should have at least audio, something. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why is like
who was in the room just before Ash? When Ash Tyler left. Like that. Obviously, Colburn never left sickbay at that point.
I mean, sure, maybe Klingons don't want to spend money on putting listening devices in their jail cells or whatever. But Federation, this is like a top-notch, brand new, off-the-line ship. How does it not have good internal sensors to know what's happening at the time of his death?
And if theories are correct, this is Section 31 ship. So
yeah, doubly so on a Section 31 ship. So
the whole ship is wired.
Yeah, it just made me upset that it's just like, come on, you've got to know what's happening. I mean, like, we've got like 24/7 surveillance in hospitals and stuff nowadays. I mean, come on, people.
Yeah, definitely brings up some interesting questions and questionable writing at some points. So from there we get.
But they couldn't. The reason they couldn't know that is because you got to have the Ash reveal later. But still, like I don't know. They could have written a way around it.
They could have. I mean, or there could have been a different way to write this. But so Discovery's trying to get back to their universe, and obviously they need information on the Defiant. Obviously, and what Michael Berman finds out that there's too much information to send Discovery without them being discovered. That she's sending this huge information to the Discovery. So
yet full body holograms are easy to hide.
Yeah, I was really surprised that was like something. I mean, I guess it is what it is, but they had to just for dramatic purposes they had to show that. I
mean, I was like, oh my, don't why are you opening a communique? This is terrible. Like, what if they get caught? Like, I mean, like beyond just someone checking a computer, someone could walk in on them,
right?
Especially counterpart Saru,
right? I
mean, because he's always in and out of her room.
Yeah, that, or could you just write on a huge cue card your responses and just put them on the window of your ship so they can read it from the other side,
or something? Because apparently Discovery is very close, as we learn about later.
Yeah,
extremely close.
Extremely close. So they're trying to get the information of the Defiant to Discovery. While that is happening, they get requested by the Emperor to hunt down and kill Firewolf, a Klingon who's leading this multi-species resistance against the Terrans. She figures this might be a way to figure out if there's a Klingon that's uniting all these people. She needs to talk to this Klingon and find out how he's doing that and why he's doing that, and that if Michael Berman can go to that person and pick their brain, because if they get back to the Prime universe, maybe they could solve the war that way.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I like this in theory, but I feel like it was executed terribly.
Very far-fetched in some ways.
Well, when she gets to him and asks him the questions, he gives her like the most like easy answers I could have thought of off the top of my head. There wasn't anything. There's no meat to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's nothing that...
It was very generic. It was very generic answers.
There's no real revelation there. It's just like, okay, makes sense. So at the point they were going to just fire a bunch of torpedoes and blow up the planet, but Michael Berman decides that she says, no, I'll go down there. I'm going to get information, and then I'll come back and I'll use that information as, to help us snuff out the rest of this resistance, and then we'll destroy them. So her and Ash Tyler decide to go down and to infiltrate this camp. So as they go down, they're taking huge shots of these laser cannons, and somehow they're not being killed. And
warning shots. You get about 16 warning shots.
Yeah, and they're not just like big phaser cannons. They're gigantic cannons. They're like phaser Gatling guns. Yeah,
or like phaser grenade launchers.
Yeah, and so Michael Berman decides that she's gonna she surrenders her phasers and say, we just want to talk to Firewolf, and we want to make some kind of peace overture. And somehow these guys are like, okay, they don't kill, even though they're wearing Terran Empire uniforms. Like this can't be a trick.
They're not rigged to explode or anything. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, she was in tactical way, or you couldn't tell she was a captain. Because I was thinking maybe if they could tell she was a captain, maybe they're like, oh, maybe she is kind of here to talk. But the tactical vest totally covers the rank vest.
Right, true. Berman and Tyler make their way to the Verbal headquarters, and that's where they learn that this Firewolf Klingon is a mirror universe version of Vok, the Torchbearer, the albino Klingon. And
Your joke comes to fruition.
My joke has finally come to fruition, Tuvok. So
I like how in the before on Discovery, they showing the preview, and where Ash Tyler's like, maybe you could meet yourself.
Maybe you could meet yourself, dude.
Hey, wouldn't that be rad?
Dude, where's my car?
Dude, where's my batleth?
Oh, Ash Tyler.
Oh, if only you knew.
This thing got played out pretty hard. I guess everything we thought really did happen. So
yeah,
whatever. So we have this interesting exchange where, and just by the way, when they get to this rebel camp, really interesting. Makeup's amazing. We get Andorian, Tellarites, Vulcans, and obviously Klingons. Couple smattering of humans. So really cool. I mean, this is.
I love the way the Andorians looked. They're kind of like a mix between the Enterprise the Enterprise Andorians and something a little bit new. Like there's like more stuff going on their face. They have like weird like protrusions, eyebrows instead of hair on their eyebrows, which I'm okay with. Although I was really surprised that they weren't all bald like the Klingons.
Right, yeah, they weren't all bald. And then the Tellarites have like tusks coming out of their mouths. That's so
awesome! I love that so much.
They look cool. So, and it's just really cool look. So the makeup looked amazing.
In a way, I think the Tellarites almost look closer to what TOS Tellarites look like than Enterprise Tellarites. Because Enterprise Tellarites just had like their whole face looked like a giant mashed potato mess.
I don't know. I like the Enterprise. I like that reimagining. I thought they made a great jump to it, but I like
this one. He's got more of a snout, like the Tellarites in the original series, but he's got the tusks and he's got like the weird hair sticking out in weird places. Like they went hardcore with the pig look, and it looks really rad.
Yeah, like they're sort of like a cross between pigs and dwarfs.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, but I mean, Tellarites are kind of like dwarvish anyway. I think in my mind, if you're going to equate them to another race, how the dwarves and the elves hate each other. Vulcans obviously elves, but I think it's rad. I think it's like a cross between. I think they look more like TOS Tellarites, but in an awesome, better makeup way.
Yeah, it was cool. Very cool. Going forward from here, we meet Sarek,
the
prophet. And Sarek does a mind meld with Michael Berman to find out if she's the real deal, because she says, I want to make peace. I want to save you people so you can fight for another day. And when Sarek does a mind meld, he basically gets all her memories, and we kind of get a flashback of everything that's happened, pertinent with Michael Berman's character up to this moment. And
he's like, your daddy.
He's like, whoa, okay, so you're not who you seem to be. There's a lot going on here. She has a very logical and instruction. So she's got a very logical mind, but she's extremely compassionate. Yeah, extremely compassionate. So she basically gets the green light from Sarek, which was pretty cool. While she's trying to get information from Vok, and like you said, like you're saying, what about you that makes you a proud Klingon warrior team up with all these other races? And he's just like, well,
the enemy is my friend. That's basically what it comes down to. It's like really, like she got nothing, like literally nothing. Like that's the most obvious answer in the whole world, and that's about all he gave her.
Right. And then while he's going into this whole thing about Kalas and all the other, his mumbo jumbo about his Klingon religion, all of a sudden Ash Tyler is having huge flashbacks, and he just goes into full Vok action.
I love this scene so much. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the episode because of the way they cut it. Because they cut back to Kuvma, Tera Nang Pu showing human, then they Tela Nang Pu, and they show like the Tellarites, and they had Andor Nang Pu, and they showed the Andorians, and it's like, yes, it's just so great that they mention that Kuvma mentioned those specific the Graces, and here they all are sitting around the table. And that was a great setup, I think.
Talk about the mirror universe, you know?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so cool. So Ash Tyler starts a fight with Vok. He pulls out bathlets, and it's a great little fight scene right there. But then
human Vok is weak and puny.
Yeah,
compared to Klingon Vok.
It doesn't have quite what the Klingons have to bring to the table. So
he's missing some ribs, and his arms are shorter.
Yeah, penis is shorter.
Yeah, too. He's been reduced down to one.
But neck beard longer.
That's true.
So
Ant trail neck beard.
And trail neck beard. So he gets a beat down by Vok, and Ash Tyler's on the ground, and Vok is going to just kill him. Where Michael Berman is like, "Stop! You can't kill him," because obviously she still has feelings for him, and she doesn't know what's going on. She has no idea why Ash Tyler just went crazy and started attacking. Maybe she just thought it was the PTSD going on with him, that he just snapped.
I think that's what she thought at first, for sure.
Yeah, and so Sarek goes like, "Look, whatever what's going on with him, I don't know, but Michael Berman is telling the truth."
I stand by what I said about her.
Yeah, so Vok's like, "Okay, cool, whatever." They give her some information, some data information, and the Andorian kind of says, "By the time you get to the ship, we'll scrub all this information, and all this stuff won't be pertinent anymore." So she beams up with Ash Tyler, and basically instructing the rebel resistance to get the hell out, get away as fast as possible, because you're not going to live if you stay here, because we're going to bomb the shit out of you. She goes back up to her ship. After she leaves the transport room, they go to her quarters, and Vok is out, completely out. There's really no more Ash Tyler. Ash Tyler gets pushed out completely, and we see Michael Berman struggling to come to terms with this.
I feel like the reveal was really muddy here. It was like, he's like, I wanted to be, because like, was he Vok the entire time? Like once Klingon Vok said something, or was he still fighting it? Because it was really muddy here, because he kept like trying to cry and trying to pretend, but I don't know if it was still really Ash, or if it like.
I think it was Ash. I think what we're seeing is that Vok is pushing him out, and he kept on saying that, like he made the reference earlier in the episode when he was afraid of open space in a spacesuit, and he says, "Remember your tether will keep you tied to it," and he was saying that Michael Berman is his tether.
Yeah.
And he kept on saying, you're my tether, you keep me grounded, you keep me, safe, and I want to be your tether. And the tether just snapped. It just wasn't. It wasn't strong enough in the end.
Okay, so I think that's how they portrayed it, but it just was a little bit muddy to me. Maybe it's just because I've only seen it once, and maybe it'll click more when I see it again. But it just felt a little like, the reveal wasn't as like crazy as I thought it would be.
I think we all saw it coming. I mean, it was like we saw this accident way ahead of like, oh, that guy's going to smack into that train any minute. We can see it happening. If that guy would just slow down, he'd be all right. But he doesn't slow down. He crashes into the train. And we just saw this accident, this fiery wreck going to happen. And we just knew it was going to happen. The reveal was sort of like, well, duh, by the time we got there.
But her recollection wasn't until he said something, "You fight like a coward. You scratched at my eyes," and stuff like that. And he's like, "That wasn't in my log."
Yeah, you scratched my eyes.
You were there.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just was like, this was like the point. This was like the tipping point of the episode. And I feel like it just kind of muddled. It wasn't because everything's been leading to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
And narratively, and it just kind of was like, it just didn't have that emotional punch I was hoping it would have. From Star Trek.
Like I said again. We saw coming, and when it finally came, the full reveal, and Michael Berman's faced with that, Ash Tyler is not going to be okay.
I think they stretched it out too long, because I mean, we knew. I mean, I knew. I was pretty sure episode 5, and then they trickle out hints every single episode, because everyone's like, "What's up with Ash? what's up with Ash? Hey, what's up with Ash? Like, every single episode, someone's saying, hey, what's up with Ash? And then we get the reveal last episode because, Laurel tries to deprogram him. He holds on. So we know for sure last episode. And then this episode, we know it's coming. So I guess maybe that's what helped hinder the emotional impact of that scene. Because Star Trek sometimes does such a great job, like hitting you in the feels and like, wow, that was really powerful. That was really good. And to me, this is something that seemed like it was going to be really powerful, but then it kind of whimpered when it was revealed.
Yeah. But again, we knew this was coming. This was definitely, this was just slowly just the peeling of the onion. You could see you're getting closer and closer to that reveal. So Ash, or Vok, Ash Vok, attacks Michael Berman. There's a struggle in her quarters. He's ready to basically choke her out when Slave Saru shows up and just, kicks
throws him across the room.
Yeah, there's
like the horse that he is.
The horse cow he is. He kicked him across the room. So
horse cow, yes,
horse cow, whatever the hell that Kelpians are. And then he gets put into custody. And we didn't say this before, but there was a scene where some prisoners on this Shinzu was going to be beamed off, and they just get beamed into space.
Yeah, and then so because he attacked the captain, that's apparently instant death penalty.
It's a strange thing to do, though, don't you think? Because if you're just going to dematerialize them, just don't ever materialize them again.
Well, that's not painful enough.
Yeah, I know.
Because transporting is theoretically it's supposed to be painful.
But you could use their organic matter in your replicators.
That's true.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think they want to reduce themselves to cannibals. They're terrible people, but they draw the line at cannibalism.
Oh, this is where they draw the line: cannibalism.
Yes,
and it's not even technically cannibals. We're just taking down the molecules of their carbon and reusing it for other things. So instead of being human flesh, you turned it into, omelets.
Well, technically, it's Klingon flesh.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. But to everyone else on the ship, it would be cannibalism. So
they're going to beam Ash Tyler off, and at the last minute, it's really bizarre. They're going to beam him off, and Michael Berman comes up, gives him a kick or a punch in the stomach, and apparently must put
sleight of hand
where she drops some information, data card,
phaser holster,
and then she says, "I'm going to beam him." She beams him off, and we see Ash Tyler beam out into space, and then all of a sudden gets beamed out of space at that very next second, and he is on Discovery, and we have Saru there, and basically,
they didn't explain that at all.
Takes the data card, and they basically put Ash Tyler into custody.
Like, that was such a weird jump, because I was like, oh, maybe she's going to beam him into, like, some, storage locker and keep him locked away, because she knows he's valuable. You know what I mean? Right. I was like, and then that's why I thought maybe she took over the controls.
I really thought she was going to kill him, though, at that point. I really thought she was going to just like, okay, this is it.
I thought she was going to beam him someplace so she could keep him, because she knows he's a valuable asset if he is, Vok or a Klingon or something, I figured she didn't want to kill him. Mm-hmm. Because she knows his tactical value, and then because he did reveal himself as the torchbearer, as the next in command, so she can finally do the Takuvma thing. Right.
Okay, so just to back up, we did see Lorca. Michael Berman consulted with him at one point just before they went on their away mission onto the Rebel planet. Basically, she's saying, "Look, I can't kill all these people. That's going against who I am as a Starfleet captain or a Starfleet officer. Even though I have to mask my actions, I have to save them somehow, and I have to, as she said, I have to find out about this, Klingon Vok or Firewolf and find out, if I can translate any of that back into our universe. Well, if we ever get back,
it's our greatest chance for peace." And she makes this great speech, and then, like as we said earlier, it just panned out into my enemy's my friend, which is pretty worthless information. Right. But during this exchange, I thought it was interesting that Lorca was like, "Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. The ends justify the means." And they've got me scared that Lorca really is from the Mirror Universe, where he's just kind of like, "Yeah, do it. I don't care about these people. Just do it. Fucking kill them. I don't care."
Right. Well, and then we get forward from that is after she beams off Ash Tyler, she meets with Lorca one more time in the ready room because she says she wants to interrogate him more. While she's telling him basically everything that's transpired with Ash Tyler and what's happened on the planet, kind of getting him up to speed. All of a sudden, she gets a message from the bridge basically saying the planet's being attacked and they're bombing the hell out of it. So she runs out to the bridge and sees
hail them.
The rebel planet just getting completely decimated. And so obviously whatever happened with the people down there, if they escaped or if they did not, we don't know, but that planet got messed up. But it got nuked for sure.
Oh man, like I loved seeing this because in Star Trek, everyone's like, the whole Star Wars for Star Trek. I was like, oh, Death Stars can destroy a whole world. Like Star Trek, they can destroy a world and keep it habitable.
Right.
Like they
or just bomb it out of existence.
Yeah.
Basically.
And they saw that was devastating. Like, oh, who cares if you destroy a planet? Destroying a planet's got lots of bad implications beyond just destroying the planet. You've messed up gravity, an entire solar system, all this stuff. You're just like messing up the planet, and you can live on it later. With the Star Trek world, it's like we're just gonna kill everything on it.
Right.
It was so awesome seeing it fire from above. I want to see what ship she's on. She's got to be on the Defiant, though, right?
We can only hope. We don't know. And then now to back up just a little bit too, is that we didn't talk about is that Tilly and Saru and Stamets back on the Discovery, they're trying to revive Stamets by basically throwing more spores at him.
So basically he's a junkie. You've cut him off from his drugs. You got to give him drugs so you don't kill him.
So, and unfortunately, Tilly seems like she's making some progress, and then Stamets just takes a nosedive and flatlines.
She ODs him.
Yeah, with the spores, and the medical crew comes in, tries to give him to jumpstart his heart, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to work. And we see Tilly just upset, and she can't believe that Stamets is dead.
Yeah, that tugged at my heartstrings a little bit, seeing her cry. But it's just like, Stamets isn't really gonna die.
He ain't dying yet. So, and of course, he later on he starts stirring, and Tilly's like, "Oh my God, he's still alive!" And then we get this weird scene. Just almost at the very end, where Stamets is walking through the spore room, and there's all
forest.
It's the spore forest.
It's this forest he keeps talking about.
And he's walking through that, and we get a mirror universe. Paul Stamets approaches him. So
in this mirror universe, Stamets is like, I thought you'd get here sooner. So he says something like that, or finally you're here, or something like that.
And then that's the scene cuts, and we don't know what happens after that. So hopefully next episode we'll find out. That seems extremely interesting. Whatever's going on there, and then we basically get to the final scene where after the rebel planet gets bombed, nuked, we find out this is from the Emperor. And who is the Emperor? Emperor
Harry Mudd.
Harry Mudd. Yeah, no. Emperor Giorgio. And she basically is like, you don't bow to me? Because like Berman's kind of like stand there stunned, like, oh my God, she's still alive and she's the Emperor. Wouldn't you call her the Empress?
She prefers the gender male version of that term.
But Giorgio looked pretty cool.
She did look pretty cool. She's got like the full. She's got like this giant cape. She's got like a full breastplate armor, kind of like Tilly does. Because I was speculating with somebody on Facebook that the half one is the male variant, and Michael wears the male variant of the captain's uniform. And that Tilly wears the female version of it.
Interesting. And we're basically stop. That's where the episode ends.
But we get some weird looks from Lorca, because Lorca gets like dragged out onto the bridge during the scene, and there's some weird cuts over to Lorca where he's giving us some weird eyes. And I'm like, oh no, is he really from this universe? Like I feel like they're trying to hint at that, and I'm like, no, please don't be from this universe.
You're just fighting it. Don't fight it. Don't fight it, Dave.
No, he needs to be Section 31. I don't want him to be Mirror Universe.
Well, Dave, so that ties up The Wolf Inside. What was your final takeaways for this episode?
The bridge inside.
The bridge inside.
That's what this episode is. I don't know. It's just last episode was just so good. It was just so good. And this episode, well, it wasn't bad. It just didn't have any of that emotional oomph for everything that was leading up to this episode was trying to tell us. I
think it should have been a little bit stronger. I agree with that. And especially the reveal of Ash Tyler being Vought to Michael Berman's character. Should have been far more dramatic.
Yeah, because we said in episode 5, or at the very earliest, at 5 or 6, Ash is going to be a heartbreaker, and that scene just didn't have it for me. And the whole internal censors thing really made me angry. It was great seeing Philippa Giorgio as the Emperor. I think it would have been hilarious if Harry Mudd was the Emperor somehow.
Would be funny, but but here we have Michael Berman's first real love affair. And she's never been in love before, and then she's just like, I mean, it's obviously affected her, but you think it'd be, this being a TV show in high drama, you think this would have been a little bit more played up.
Yeah, I think so. What are your major takeaways? Yeah,
the biggest issue about this whole thing is just that the pacing is very slow on this episode. Like I think you said, the first 15 minutes of this before we even got the opening credits.
Yeah, it was before we started recording. But yeah, I had to pause it for some reason, and just noticing when I paused it during the credits, it was 15 minutes, and I'm like, why is it so? I feel like this has got to be the longest stinger. I don't even know if you can call it a stinger if it's past a couple minutes. It was like almost a third of the episode.
Yeah, and Michael Berman just kind of like giving her a little dialogue over everything, and it's not that was bad. It just was like, And then the other side of it is that it really frustrates me that Michael Berman and Ash Tyler are just kind of like hanging out in bed and cuddling constantly,
while Lorca's just getting tortured, for the last like 3 or 4 days, however long it's been.
Yeah, it's like, guys, what are you doing? It's terrible. You can't.
I mean, you should be sleeping just to sleep at the most, and you probably shouldn't even be sleeping that much in a place where you get stabbed all the time. You could get stabbed at any moment.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
Very frustrating.
She's getting like sexy baths from Saru.
Yeah, that was weird too. I mean, that really didn't have to happen.
It's like the whole blue milk. It's like the whole green milk scene in the Last Jedi. It just didn't need to happen.
Yeah, I just didn't need to see Saru bathing Michael Berman character. And then,
her Black Knighty was kind of nice though.
Yeah, that was cute, but so the cool thing was that we did get to see Vok and Ash Tyler Vok fight, and we did get to see that Rebel planet. We got all that great makeup that was really cool, and I'm glad to see that somehow they saved Ash Tyler and just beamed him into space. And they brought him back onto Discovery. So
yeah, I thought he was done for. I'm like, there's got to be more they're gonna do with the character. There's got to be more. They did the reveal, and then like they're just gonna kill him. Like it just seemed. I think that's part of what made it underwhelming. It just seems so shallow to reveal him in the mirror universe, and then we're just gonna transport him off and just kill him immediately. I thought he was dead. I was like, what? Yeah, it's such a weird dead end for something that's been building since episode 5.
And truly, the most exciting thing to me, well, there's two. Well, the one was seeing the Rebels and all the cool makeup and stuff. That was cool. And then getting to see Stamets meeting his alternate version Stamets in the Spore Forest or whatever, or Mycelium Forest. That was cool too. I was excited about that. Everything else, we're kind of just like putting all the little pieces of puzzles in their place, but we're not really getting the full picture. We're just kind of like moving to the next part of the story. So this is sort of just like, just a filler part of the story that you have to fill in those little pieces, but I don't think it's that important.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with the two parts that you like the most. The seeing the Tellarites and the Andorians was fantastic. Seeing Vok be the leader was kind of cool, although his information was totally bogusly boring. I was like, wow, that's all you could come up with? It's like why even have the subplot if that's all it's going to be? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm just like, that's the most basic thing. And I did like seeing Stamets meet Stamets, but this just raises more questions than it does answer anything, because does that mean Mirror Discovery also has spore technology?
I don't know. And
because why would he be meeting his Mirror Universe self there if it doesn't?
I really don't know. But it seems like there must be something to that. It would be interesting if the Vok from the Mirror Universe was to cross over with them to the parallel, and they could use him as a way to, issue peace.
He dead.
Well, maybe, but maybe he got off.
Maybe.
This is, it's very possible. Maybe they got him off.
She did give him an hour, but I'm pretty sure he did. Stamets, but the thing is, but back to Stamets, if we know that somehow because of all the damage happening to Stamets in the Prime universe, they're never gonna they're going to cancel it. It's going to get relegated to Section 31 or whatever. They're going to stop using spore technology. But if the Mirror Universe, damn it, is there, why would the Mirror Universe ever stop using spore technology? They have no morals. They kill people at a turn of a hat. Injecting someone with tardigrade DNA and shoving them into the chamber just to keep it going. They could do this ad nauseum and it wouldn't care. Like, they have no morals.
That seems like Lorca's actions that you're describing there.
No.
It is. Yeah, so all interesting. I mean, obviously we're just connecting the dots. We're getting from plot A to the plot B where, Berman's going to meet up with the Emperor Giorgio, and we'll see where that goes from there. But it's obviously we're going into a 3-parter, possibly a 4-parter.
At least a 3-parter. And that's the thing. That's the thing I was thinking back on episode 9. I was like, I think it's going to be at least a 3-parter. And so far, I'm batting pretty good. I was right about Ash being Vok, so maybe this will be a 3-parter. I mean, it could go on. It very well could go on 5 episodes, and then they just get back and they just wrap everything up in this nice, tidy bow at the end. I hope not. I hope we get a couple episodes at least back in Primeville. Yeah,
we don't know, but interesting to say the least. So to see where that all wraps up with these characters, not a bad episode, just not a. The pacing's really odd. Like, it was weird with the last episode, Despite Yourself. Like, I think I mentioned, it had all these moving parts and everything moved perfectly. And it all, like, flowed and had a great pacing. This one dragged at parts, and it wasn't terrible. It wasn't hard to watch. It was just like, okay, can we just get to the point? And like I said, the snuggling between Ash Tyler and Michael Berman's, like, can we just keep that at a minimum? Like, just have them kiss a few times, and like, why are they laying around in bed? It kind of like drove me nuts.
Yeah, especially when Lorca's just sitting there being tortured. Although I did think that it was really weird that the scene there, she's talking to him right outside the agonizer booth. There's no guards. There's nobody else in the agonizer booth. There's nobody else in the brig at all. I'm like, why is there nobody here?
Well, she probably ordered them out, but then
I know they executed a couple of them at the beginning, but there was at least 5 people in there who were prisoners before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, it's getting interesting to see how this is going to get wrapped up. But here we are, episode 11. We only have
4 episodes left.
4 episodes left. It seems weird, but we are almost done with the first season of Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, it's almost over, and it's just like, what's happening? Come on, tell us.
Any predictions to seeing how this is going to? Do you think we're going to go further than a 3-arc episode of the Mirror Universe, or do you think we're going to go 4 or more?
The way the next episode looks in the previews, I feel like it's going to be another filler episode. I feel like they're going to get stuck. The whole Giorgio being the Empress thing is going to make them be stuck there for a little bit longer. I hope they get back next episode, but I really don't think they'll get back until maybe the end of the next one. I think it'll be 4 episodes because it looks like they go to the palace. They go see Emperor. I'm guessing she's going to be related to Hoshi Sato, since we know Hoshi was the last emperor that we know of for sure. So maybe she's like her granddaughter or something.
Okay. Right.
Which would match up decently in the timeline, I think, if Philippa is her granddaughter. Or maybe she just, Philippa, and she killed the last person. But I just think it's funny that, it'd be, an Asian and then somebody else in an Asian. I'm like, it would make more sense if it was the bloodline of Hoshi.
Possible.
And it looks like from the preview that that Giorgio and Michael have a thing. Well, it looks like they might be partners or something in the Mirror Universe.
It's possible.
What about you?
Yeah, I think we're going to go to 4 episodes of Mirror. So we'll be 2 more episodes into Mirror somehow. Maybe the last episode is where they escape or they get out somehow.
Yeah.
And then we'll have 2 more episodes just to wrap up, the rest of the Klingon War or what have you. I do wonder if they're going to somehow bring Vok back, or if there's any other thing. L'Rell is going to escape, and Ash Tyler will escape as well, and they're going to run amok on Discovery and make just huge problems for them. So that's definitely going to happen. Lorca, who knows? I think something's going to happen to Lorca at the very end this season. So I think we're going to lose him. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens.
I hope we don't lose him. I like Lorca too much. He's by far my favorite captain. He's so awesome. Mm-hmm. But yeah, next episode, I think it's going to be another like bridging episode. I mean, they got the Defiant plans, but Discovery's going to be sitting there like figuring out the plans, and then we've got Lorca and Michael hanging out with the Emperor. So I just feel like that's going to be enough for one episode. I don't think they're going to have enough time to like figure it out, escape from the palace. So the way I think it's going to go down is like they're going to have to be doing the palace stuff, and they'll figure things out, and then they'll have to make the big escape on the fourth mirror episode, so they can escape the palace and then get back to the mirror universe. Get back to their own universe in the episode after that. So that's what makes sense to me narratively. And then you've got like as soon as they get back, that's when Ash and L'Rell start causing their problems. That's when hopefully Lorca will bring out the Section 31 stuff and like blow our minds with like stuff that they've really been doing in the background the entire time. And then I don't know, maybe the Gorn will fight the
Gorn.
The Gorn will fight the Klingons, and then they'll have to like join with the Federation against the Gorn.
I don't know about that, but it would be interesting if he uses the enemy of my enemies as my friend. So what if they found a way to engage some enemies of the Klingons to make them friends again? Like maybe somehow they spark a war with the Romulans between the Klingons, so they lose interest in Starfleet and the Federation. I mean that's just just a thought. So
that's about as far-fetched as the Gorn thing, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, if she's going to learn anything from the Mirror Universe Vok,
Which was so dumb. Like, he didn't tell her anything. It's just...
I mean, the only thing he possibly could do is bring that Vok back into the Prime Universe.
That would be interesting.
That would be cool, because then he could be the guy saying, look, we brought you over here. This universe, the Klingon Empire is completely intact, and, they all love you here. You're the torchbearer. Go and, make peace, and we'll leave you alone.
Oh, the Klingon Empire isn't intact. That's why...
Well, I mean, intact. It's not being beat up by the Terran Empire.
Sure. I mean, that's the reason why he said they like to fight. When the houses aren't in order, they get antsy. That's basically what he was saying.
Sure. Yeah. But good stuff. I mean, it was a fun episode. It's not like skip this episode for anybody any chance by any means of the imagination.
I mean, the only episode you could skip this season and not be missing anything is
the Harry Mudd one.
The Harry Mudd episode, really, because it has nothing to do with anything. All the rest of the episodes are pretty tied in with each other.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I would say you could skip the first two episodes, but the Mirror Universe episodes really makes you need to see the first two episodes for the emotional impact. Although the emotional impact hasn't really been there to me. So
it's a weird thing about this.
You can kind of take it or leave it with the first two episodes.
Honestly, there's not a lot of emotions in these episodes, that any of them in this whole season. I mean, there's been a few things that we go like, oh, I felt bad. Like I felt bad when Ash Tyler kind of brought out
when you thought he was being sexually assaulted. No, he wasn't.
But he is sort of in a way, but not in the same way as we thought, because obviously, the Vok, memories or whatever is all tied together with his, and his body's tied together with his. So, but he can't make sense of all that. But I did feel bad for Ash Tyler there. And but I haven't felt a lot of strong emotions during any of these real episodes. I mean, Michael Berman's character is interesting, but she's not very emotionally resonant to me. I mean, there's nothing that make me go like, oh, I feel for her, because like we're all screaming like Ash Tyler's a Klingon.
Yeah,
don't fall for him. Oh, it's like every TV show. The girl falls in love with the jerk.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, don't go for him.
Yeah.
So, but
go ahead.
Nobody else is that is that interesting. I mean, Srew's interesting, but not emotionally interesting. Stamets is fun, but not that interesting emotionally. Tilly, great character, but there's nothing there for me. I don't. And maybe it resonates with other people. That's fine too, but
sure. But I mean, I agree with you. There's nothing been super resonant. I mean, like they've got the episode Lower Decks where they introduced a bunch of brand new characters. You pretty much never see them again, and
it breaks your heart.
It breaks your heart, yeah. But like these episodes, we've gotten 11 episodes of these characters, and I haven't felt a twinge of anything for any of them, other than I really like Lorca because he's just badass and awesome. But I just don't have any, like, it's a good show. I like the show. It's a good show. But, like, I don't really care about anything. I mean, I was shocked that they killed Huber last episode. I mean, that
was shocking, but that wasn't emotionally shocking. You're just like, whoa.
It was like shocked value. And then after Trek, they had the actor who plays Culber on, and they said it's not the last you've seen of Culber. And I'm like,
Wilson Cruz, yeah.
And I'm like, what? Like, why would you do that? And then immediately say, oh, he's not really dead, or he'll come back. I'm just like, what? It just, if there was any emotion in that scene where he dies, it's totally gone for watching After Trek. I didn't watch it, but I heard people say about it. I'm just like, come on, why are you spoiling? They were so tight-lipped about it before it came out, and now they're spoiling future episodes or future seasons in After Trek.
Right?
Why? What's the point, really?
Yeah.
Like anything anything. If they keep doing After Trek and they keep spoiling things going forward, like there's nothing's going to be truly shocking in the show. It's going to be like, oh, well, we'll fix that later.
I know.
I mean, After Trek. I never watched, Talking Dead or whatever, because I stopped watching Walking Dead before that was a thing, the after show. I never watched that, so I don't know if they got spoilery on that or not, but the after show, I think, is just a disservice to Discovery if they're just going to, like, drop, they're going to have the actor come on who died, and they go, oh, well, I'm not really dead.
Well, I got it because I watched it later on, and I got the impression that he was saying, you'll see him again. Like, so maybe it's like a hologram letter to Stamets or something like that, sort of like Wesley Crusher's dad. Or maybe Culber gets brought back somehow. I don't know, but I mean,
they bring back Mira Culver or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, but wouldn't he be evil? So I don't know.
He's just raunchier in the sack. That's all.
Yeah, Stamets can't get enough.
Yeah, and he can't. He's done some more illegal doctory things. He's done some illegal experimentation. But other than that, he's not that bad.
That bad.
He'll kill you unless you ask him to.
Yeah, right. Can I kill you? No. All right.
Okay. So I mean, I never saw it, but I just heard that he gave the impression that he was coming back, and I was like, if you're gonna.
It's funny because when I watched it, some of the writers, the two writers were there or producers, and they were pretty guarded on everything they said. And even when Wilson Cruz made that kind of like admission, I think they gave him a bit of a stink eye, but he didn't say anything too crazy. Just saying like you'll see my character, again. Yeah. So he didn't. I don't think he meant like he's alive, but maybe he has like one more performance, like. And like I said, I just assumed it was going to be like some kind of like goodbye letter to Stamets.
Oh, okay.
So who knows though?
I don't know. It just seems kind of like And then it was shocking to see him get killed, but yeah, it's not emotionally shocking. He's barely been in the episodes. Like he's had like 15 minutes of screen time up until the point where he died.
Yeah, I was hoping that Culber was going to be a character we get to see develop more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to see, but of course doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
I mean, maybe season 2 will get better character development when they're not doing this like Klingon arc. But the thing is, they said all the seasons are going to have like an arc to them. So
I don't mind the arc. It's as long as like we get some kind of attachment to characters. I mean, what you brought up Walking Dead, and regardless, I know you're not a big fan of the show after you saw like the second or third season.
Yeah, I gave up on it after season 3.
But you do get attached to certain characters, and you feel like some kind of.
I liked Dale.
Action. But because I finally caught up with all Walking Dead up to the newest show, and I can say it's definitely jumped the shark. It's not that great anymore. Somewhere around the 7th season, it really started falling apart to me, and the directing in Walking Dead currently in this season is terrible. It makes me scream like you scream.
If it's that bad now, like if you're saying it's bad now, I don't even know if I'd even want to give it a try because I thought it was garbage season 2 and 3, and I was just like, I just can't. I mean, I just watched 2 seasons of garbage. The first season was brilliant. The first season of Walking Dead I loved, and so I gave it the second season, and there was like 4 good episodes the entire second season. The first episode, the mid-season finale, the mid-season opener, and the season finale. All the other episodes were worthless. Then I watched the prison season, and it was a little bit better than season 2, but not much.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree a little bit with you because I like some of where the characters were going, but I mean, whatever. That's Walking Dead. Let's not talk about Walking Dead on our Star Trek episodes. So, anyways, yeah, I'm hoping we see some character development in here because we are getting it through story progression, but I'm not feeling any strong connection. You know what it is? They all seem really cold to me somehow. Besides maybe Tilly.
Well, she's obviously the most warm character on the show, and putting her with the coldest character on the show was obviously the point, since she was Vulcan. Michael's Vulcan, and Vulcan in her raising. Mm-hmm. She's going to be the coldest character on the show, and like I said, I don't even think she halfway warmed up until Lethe.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, but it's just like, so I'm not. It's hard for me to get attached to these characters. So I'm hoping somehow these characters develop somehow that I'd be like, okay, I want to know what happens next to them. Like what's the next thing that's going on with these characters? So,
well, I just think that the characters are suffering because of the overall narrative of the show.
Yeah, I agree.
The number one on the Shinzu, the Mirror Shinzu, she's got more lines and more stuff to do as Mirror herself than she has as regular herself.
Yeah, we don't know anything about her.
Don't know anything about her, and it's just like all these characters. There's the black lady with the crazy awesome hair and Discovery. She sits up in the front at the con,
and that robot.
And the robot, yeah. And
like what's going on with that?
There's all these neat characters, and they have names. If you look at the IMDb, they have like first and last names, and I don't think I've heard them said once.
I know.
And so really it's just kind of like, I mean, there's all these characters, and like the show's revolving around just a couple characters. Yeah. Like 2 or 3 characters. It's like it's the smallest cast since TOS, really, as far as like your main characters go.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. It's I don't know. We're still early. I mean, I know we're only at episode 11. It seems like a lot has happened, but it's still only 11 episodes. And even by the time we get to 16, it's still not a lot of episodes. So,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, we got. I just think about the arc of Next Generation between first season to third season. I mean, just so much development on the characters, and the characters grew so much. So hopefully we'll get some of the growth as the writers flesh out these characters more.
Yeah, sure. But who knows who's going to be alive?
Well, that's the other side, so we don't know that. Either, so.
I mean, it's post Game of Thrones world. They haven't done any major kills. I mean, other than Takuvma and Giorgio. Mm-hmm. Most people are still alive. And Landry. Mm-hmm. But that was about it. Like, we haven't had any like major deaths since episode 4.
Yeah, right. Right.
No, we lost Cole in episode 9, so that was a major death. But yeah,
right.
It's weird. It's like I was expecting more deaths, I guess, but at the same time, I don't know.
But they're happening, and Colbert, Colbert's death was shocking.
Yeah. But he's not really a major character. He's like a C-level character on the show.
Yeah, and do you think Ash Tyler is going to somehow come back to be back to Ash Tyler, or do you think he's gone, baby gone?
I hope he's gone, baby gone. I think it was played out, and they flubbed it in this episode. As far as the reveal, it just didn't have the emotional resonance, and he needs to stay Vok, and they either use him as the bargaining chip that Takuvma was supposed to be to I mean, that's probably how they're going to end it. Really, mm-hmm. He's the torchbearer. And then they've got Laurel to vouch for him. They've got both of them. So I mean,
right.
Unless they die in their coup, mm-hmm. that's inevitably going to come when they try to take over the ship. The two of them. I think they're going to be the bargaining chip unless they get killed going forward. I don't want to see him just be regular Ash Tyler. And I imagine the real Ash Tyler is dead. I mean, he's got to be.
We're all hoping.
Because, I mean, with Ash Tyler gone and dead, you've got room for, or just him staying Vok and Vok living on. He can turn back into Klingon Vok, and he can be the albino in Blood Oath, which would be great. It'd be awesome if they keep him alive and he becomes that guy. I would love to see that happen.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, I mean, if Ash Tyler's gone or off the map, then Michael Berman has room to grow as a character and being just stuck in a relationship.
Yeah, we can learn more about the robot girl. We can learn more about the other characters on the bridge. Maybe get some more stuff from the bridge officers. Maybe meet the actual engineer who works over the warp engine. Yeah, because we haven't even met that guy yet. We don't know. Meet a new doctor. I mean, there's so much. I mean, there's so many characters that could be on the ship that we just haven't really even been exposed to.
I agree. Yeah,
so there's lots of stuff they could do with characters and move these minor characters up into bigger parts. I mean, maybe Demure, the girl with the eye patch thing. I think her name is Demure. Her last name is maybe she could be like Chief O'Brien. She's in almost every episode, but she doesn't do much. Then maybe they can move her into like an O'Brien type thing, give her more to do as seasons go on.
Yeah, well, if she's a good actor, or if has the chops, It's
kind of hard to have the chops of Colin Meaney though.
Yeah, he's pretty king, and it was a crime that we didn't get more of him in the beginning of Next Gen. So
sure, he's so good, but I mean, I'm so glad they kept him with it, and he became an awesome character in DS9.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else, man?
No, there's something else I want to say about the episode, but I lost it in a booze haze. So yeah. We've done a lot more theorizing this episode than we normally do, so that was kind of fun.
I think this is a good point to pause, because this wasn't a very exciting episode, but it was interesting. But it makes you speculate now, where is it going to go from here? So, because we don't have too much farther to go, and
they keep raising questions instead of answering them. I mean, we knew Ash was Vok for the longest time. Yeah. So it's just kind of like,
Yeah, no. Lots of mystery.
Now they're just painting shady stuff at Lorca. I mean, he's always been shady, but now they're making him look even shadier. I'm just like, oh, come on, no, don't be Lorca from the Mirror Universe. Like, you can't be. He keeps on saying he wants to get home. Maybe he just wants to kill the Emperor. Maybe that's all he wants to do is kill the Emperor. I don't know. It's just convoluted at the moment.
Emperor Lorca. Yeah. That'd be an interesting twist, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it would be. But I just want the Section 31 angle to open back up. Black badges, the ship being 1031. Guy Davis said, even in the third episode, when you see him looking out a window, on the hull, there's etchings on the hull that look like 3 and a 1. Like 3 strokes and then separated by just a 1 stroke by itself. Like there's Section 31 references on the ship.
Oh yeah, that's strong.
And they've totally dropped off about this. I just really want him to be Section 31, and that explained why he's so shady.
What if there's a Section 31 agent other than Lorca? Maybe there's somebody else. That would be interesting too. So
yeah, that could be interesting. But who?
I don't know.
A character we haven't met yet, probably.
Maybe Tilly.
Oh, that would be great. She's a cadet after all.
Yeah.
I can't see her having the chops to be Section 31. She's too talky.
She is very talky. But
I can't see that. I can't see her being a secret agent with a mouth like hers.
It could happen though. Maybe that's just a cover.
That's true. Maybe she's really more like Captain Kelly than she lets on.
Yeah, very much so. Absolutely.
I was sad Mira Saru didn't have a beard.
Who didn't have a beard?
Mira Saru.
Oh.
Everyone's been doing these really crappy photoshops of Saru with a beard.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I've been waiting to see Mr. Saru with a beard.
But you notice Sarek had the goatee.
Yeah, definitely.
Doing the Spock callback.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's hilarious.
And now he's probably dead. He might not be. We don't know how much time passed. We don't know how close they were to that hour mark.
Yeah, I don't know either. It seemed to move. All that moved very convoluted. Part of the story. It was it seemed like it moved fast, but then did it really, or was it just TV editing? Oh,
I remember the part that I wanted to complain about, the how the Discovery found Ash. Did she make a call saying, "Hey, I'm beaming Ash out"?
Yeah, I'm assuming she must have sent some kind of encrypted code to Discovery. I don't know how that happened.
I'm going to beam him out into space. You should beam him up because he's got the disc on him, and it's just that part felt really convoluted to me. That's the part that I forgot about earlier that I said I forgot. But yeah. that part just was like, and they do that a lot in Discovery, like in the Mud episode where it seems like she starts to remember on her own.
Yeah, that was like, what?
Well, I mean, it's probably because they're just cutting out the Stamets part, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, their editing is a little bit convoluted sometimes in Discovery. And like, I've complained about this before. It's just like, they're on an online streaming platform. You have time.
Yeah.
You don't have to make it 44 minutes or 45 minutes or 42 minutes. You've got all the time in the world.
Yeah, you're right.
You're on an online streaming platform. You don't have to limit yourself to under an hour.
You're right.
It's just, and the thing is, After Track, I mean, maybe they're doing it because After Track, but I'm like, After Track just streams live after it airs with commercials, so just push back After Track to immediately after it airs. Yeah. It's not that hard. I mean, I don't understand why they're limiting themselves so much on a platform where they have as much freedom as they need to have.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're just not. Honestly, that's the other thing that's weird about the CBS All Access is like, so it airs like around like 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Like, why? Like, just why aren't we just doing it in the on midnight? Or when the clock changed over for the next day, like why not just put it through that? Why does it have to be at like a prime time viewing? Because if you're going to watch the commercials are still there. That's not affecting anything.
Yeah.
And okay, maybe you don't want to, because you haven't developed all the show all at once. You can't release everything like a Netflix show.
Yeah, but they could still do it midnight the night it's supposed to air instead of waiting till almost midnight the next day. It's just
just weird. It's just some weird choices. It's almost like they're still trying to make.
It's like they think they're on a network, but they're not.
Yeah, that's it. Very much so. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like they still think they're broadcasting like a typical show, but they're not. So, like, why are we doing it that way? So, I don't know, whatever.
There's some, I mean, it's like they don't realize, it's exactly what you said. They don't realize they're on a streaming platform when they are, because the episode lengths don't need to be that short. They could drop it just on Saturday or Sunday, whenever, instead of like 8:30. It's just so weird. It's just, I don't know,
yeah, I don't get it either.
I hope they smooth things out for next season. I hope they take advantage of the time. Because, I mean, there's obviously been stuff that's been cut from the episodes. They're obviously missing things that I'm pretty sure they thought about or did shoot. And I think they're editing for time. And I don't understand why they're editing for time.
Well, sometimes I understand you want to keep it under a certain time, so you don't want to go too crazy long and have some weird 15-minute introduction that doesn't need to be there. But
that's true. But there's character development they could do and other stuff, and explaining all the stuff that they're so convoluted on.
Yeah,
because Discovery overall, it's a great show. The production values are amazing. It looks amazing. They're doing some great storytelling. If you're looking at the macro story. On a larger scale, if you're looking at the micro story between characters and character development, that's a little bit lacking because there's not been any, to me, not a lot of emotional resonance like you normally get in Star Trek. It just, season 2, I really hope they can fix it and get it more emotional and take advantage of the time, explain things. You're not limited to a TV section of time. You're not limited to an hour time slot. The
sets are all built. They have the studios up there in Canada. A lot of the development of all the characters are kind of there, or mostly there. So let's take some more time and maybe we can change the format of the show, how it's sent out. Like we were saying, does it have to come out at 8:30? That's weird time on a Sunday. Why? Yeah,
could it drop on a Saturday or a Friday or something? Because I would just
weird.
I would just love, for editing and getting this up and getting a podcast done. It would just be so much more convenient for this to come out earlier in the week instead of later in the week.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't get it completely. But that's their thing. I mean, to me, I knew they had to. It was going to take them time to ramp up to the show because their studios were not up to the challenge yet, and they had to do a lot of work to get there. They had to build all the sets, they had to develop the world, they had to do all the writing.
Yeah.
That was a huge jump. It's not like a cop show where you can just be like a bunch of muscle heads going I'll get you, Mendoza, you killed my partner, now I'm going to get you kind of thing, know?
Yeah, for sure. And they're definitely reaching deep, and they've got some interesting stories they're trying to tell, and it's good overall. It's just missing something, I think, to me in some of the episodes.
Yeah, I agree. there's a little bit missing.
You have any other thoughts?
Nah, that's pretty much it for me for the hungry like the wolf inside.
Hungry like the wolf inside. You know, I'm honestly not super excited for next episode. I think I'm excited for the episode after it because they'll finally get out of the mirror universe. I like Johnson's the mirror.
Next episode.
Maybe. I like Johnson's mirror universe, but I don't like when they drag their feet there. Like Deep Space Nine, I feel like they drag their feet a little too much.
Oh, Deep Space Nine was like always like, hey, I just beamed over to the mirror universe. Hi, guys.
Hey, what's up?
It's Happy again. Hi, Happy.
Hey, do you want to build me a Defiant in the mirror universe? That'd be cool.
Okay.
That'd be kind of cool, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All our music is provided by Warp 11, except for our intro. It's by Dave Wilkes. Warp 11 you can find at warp11.com or Warp 11 on Twitter. Synthaholics you can find at synthaholics.com, youtube.com/synthaholics. Subscribe. And on Twitter at Synthaholic Duo. Personally, I'm at David_J_Duncan.
I'm at Blackbird 2004. And if you have the chance, please go to Apple iTunes, rate and review us, preferably give us 5 stars, and say some awfully nice things in the comments about us. It helps people get to see the show more when you do that. So you're helping us, not just blowing sunshine up our ass, you're helping the show get seen to more people.
Absolutely.
And if you do want to blow sunshine up our ass and you have some money, we have a Patreon.com/Synthaholics. If you have $1 or more, if you want to contribute to the show, we highly appreciate it. Just keep our operating costs so we can keep bringing the show and make it a little easier for us because, as we've said before, we're in this small little closet, one light bulb, and that moth is getting real close.
It's Mothra by now.
It's Mothra. And then we can, if we have enough money, we could actually, through the Patreon, we could get like stuff like Hungry Like the Wolf and play it for you.
Get that licensed out and stuff.
Yeah. And lastly, if you do have a friend or a coworker or somebody who might like a podcast about Star Trek, sci-fi, or just silly humor about Star Trek, let them know about Synthaholics. The best way to spread the show is just word of mouth. Share the show on any Facebook, Twitter, or on to your coworkers or to your next door neighbor or to your good friend.
Absolutely. That's how I listen to a lot of the podcasts I listen to, by just word of mouth. Aaron's recommended several to me that I've really fallen in love with. So word of mouth is the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all so very much for listening. This was a fun, rambly, theorizing episode of Synthaholics, and I hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to the next episode. Hopefully it'll be better. And live long and prosper, one and all.
We'll laugh and we'll bullshit our pants. You're the best drinking friend I ever had.
Hungry like the wolf.
Hungry like the wolf.